Early in my career, I had times when I thought about getting a new job but was not 100% sure. I didn't know how to figure it out. So I did nothing, but then found myself pretty unhappy for a few months until I made a change. And while starting something new can be daunting, there are criteria that you can use to figure out what you need in your career, assess if you are getting it, and figure out if it's time for a change. Hi, this is Diana Bernal with Corner Office Latinas. I'm a career strategist who guides ambitious Latinas through major career moves. Today, I want to bring what I have learned in career decision-making, what's worked for me and worked for others, so that you can find job fulfillment now. I've seen too many people settle for mediocre and retire with regret. You've heard those stories. I want to give you the clarity and confidence to move forward with the career change that's right for you. And a quick reminder, August workshops are starting up and our virtual groups meet in September. All that info is at cornerofficelatinas.com. Okay, let's jump in. So you're on the fence about work. How do you know if it's time for a new job? Well, think about your desire to quit on a spectrum from 1 to 5. 1, you're happy, you're content, the work is satisfying, you're not tempted to leave, and you feel like you're getting what you need professionally and personally. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now, if you are on the other end of the spectrum, 5, you know it. You dread work. You are not inspired. You do the bare minimum. You barely drag yourself to work on time. And actually, being in a 5 is kind of the easy part because you know you want something else. Now, you may not know what to do next, and the criteria we talk about are certainly going to help you figure that out too. Now, if you are in the middle like a 3, I think unfortunately that is the hardest place to be. You know, if you're at a 3, your work is not awful, but you find yourself spending more time on LinkedIn, scrolling. You look at a few jobs, you might click on them, but you aren't motivated to take action. You are comfortable where you are, so you don't have the urgency to leave if you were at a 4 or a 5. But you certainly aren't happy like a 1 or a 2. Every day that you're in a mediocre job is one less day of being in a great job. And we are so much better off when we are fulfilled at work. So if you are undecided, the only way you're going to find out is by taking some action. So we're going to walk through 5 criteria to assess your current job. Now, the good thing is if you decide to leave, then these same criteria are the ones you can use to shape your next job. It'll strengthen your decision, and it'll also give you the outline of what you want. And it'll give you the confidence to make a change because you've really thought about it and you've done the work. You're not just taking a new job because you had one bad day at the office. Never a good thing to do. Now, some of us really rely on our gut feeling. That's certainly me. That can certainly help guide us. But I think it is also important to have specific criteria we are using to judge our current job and the future opportunities. This way, when that job search intensifies or you are negotiating, you have already figured out what is important to you. Now, sometimes it's one thing that makes you leave. Sometimes it is a dozen. And while there are many things to consider for job fulfillment, I've organized them into 5 categories. So these are 5 things you can consider today and really any time to help you decide if your current work is no longer serving you. First up, let's start with your professional criteria. And that can vary depending upon the stage of your career. If you are 5-10 years out of college, you might be looking for more traditional growth up the corporate ladder versus someone who has 20 years in the workplace. You may not need the same type of pace or growth, but you probably still want to be challenged. So think about where you want to be in the next 5 years, no matter how many years of experience you have, and see if today's job is getting you there. Now, growth can always look different. Maybe it is a title change or a promotion, or maybe your role has just expanded, though. Have you been passed over? If it's a small company and the promotional opportunities are not as vast as a larger company, just think about how the role has expanded or evolved in a way that you're still challenged or intrigued by it. And if there is experience that you want to get, like supervising or managing a bigger team or a specific type of cases or clients that you want to work on, think about that too. And again, is this job serving you for that next move in a couple of years? Okay, the second thing to consider are your personal needs. Let's make your life easier. And this is not being selfish. If you're more satisfied and happier outside the office, it makes you a better employee in the office. So think of what you need personally. Do you have the flexibility, the right commute, benefits? Now, this is where you should outline the must-haves versus the nice-to-haves. So let's say you cannot do a commute over 30 minutes. Okay. And maybe working from home 2 days a week is a nice to have. So you have to figure out what is right for you. The third element is culture, whether that's camaraderie in the office versus a toxic environment. We talked about some of this in episode 403, by the way, if you want to go back and take a listen, because trust and respect are really critical. Do you feel appreciated? Does the company line up with your own values? And do you have a dialogue and respect with your boss? Now, you don't need to like and socialize with your coworkers or your boss, but mutual respect is key. Now, the fourth element is fulfillment. Is the work itself rewarding? Does it fill you up some way? Or are you busy filling up other people's cups? Journaling is what helps me. You can think of it this way: what energizes you versus what drains you. Now, it doesn't mean you have to be at a nonprofit or a mission-driven organization, but does it spark your curiosity? Are you still learning? If you've been there for a long time or just been in your field for a long time, after you've mastered your job, it might become a little boring. So how are you spicing things up in a way that is intriguing to you? Okay, criteria number 5, of course, is pay. Now, this is more than just, do you have enough for your needs and wants? But has your pay kept up with the marketplace? Do you feel well rewarded for what you contribute? Now, this can be really tough if you have been at the company for 5 years or more, because as you know, other people can get hired and start making more than you. So it's important to keep up to date with your market value. Know what you bring to the table. Okay, so as you've considered these 5 criteria, you think you want to leave. There is one thing that people often miss. Can you ask for what you need at your current job and stay? Is it worth staying? Identify those top 1 or 2 things that would keep you staying and thriving there. Now, if it's a toxic culture, it probably means it's time to go. But maybe it's a little bit more money. Maybe it's a different responsibility. If you think it's possible based on what you know, then maybe it's time for a conversation. And you don't have to wait until review time. Actually, I would suggest doing it whenever you're ready. So if you feel that staying at your current company could be a good option if they changed 1 or 2 things, then schedule that conversation and be really prepared on what your real bottom lines are. Always lead with the positive, how you want to stay at the company and you want to contribute. But if only you had more flexibility, another day working from home, $10,000 more dollars, whatever that is, and see what they say. Because managers aren't always thinking about what it's going to take to keep you there. So trust me, you will learn a lot about your boss and the company by how they respond. What's the best that could happen? You get more of what you need. Now, if you do not get the answers you want, then you have information. After you have asked for whatever it is that you need, the pay, the title, the flexibility, and you don't get it, then you certainly have a green light to find a new job. Staying is always your choice. It is an option, but at least you will have done your homework. And now that you have these criteria, this will help you when you are searching for a new job, especially if it's going to take you a little bit longer than you like and you start to second guess yourself and your friend, your partner, your mother says, "Oh, why don't you stay? I'm sure it's just fine." But having these criteria now give you the confidence to stick to your guns about what it is that you need and want. So the good thing is that you have done an internal assessment of what is important to you. You can go after that ideal job based on what you just identified. And don't forget, it's not just what you're leaving behind. It's what are you going to? And we talk about this in episode 403 with Dr. Jasmine Escalera. It is really important to think about what you're moving to because leaving a job is easy, but you don't want to be in the same position a year from now. You've identified the gaps. Now use them to shape your next opportunity to meet your needs, your values, and your goals. Because I feel like job fulfillment has never been more important, and it's more possible. There's an old quote, you should not spend 5 days a week looking forward to 2. I do not know who said that. If you do, let me know. And look, I know job fulfillment like this is a privilege for many of us. My parents punched a clock and put food on the table, and I am pretty sure they never used the words job fulfillment. But they did that so that I could have more, so that I could have options. Okay, so to recap those 5 criteria, look at your professional needs between now and the next 5 years, your personal needs, the culture fit, fulfillment of the work, and of course, pay. Go ahead and rank those things and go out and get them. Of course, let us know if we can help. We have group workshops coming up that can provide the tools and support you need. See you next time. Thank you for listening. For more, visit cornerofficelatinas.com, where we give you the framework, inspiration, and support you need to reach and thrive in the corner office. We have some free downloads on the website, where you can also sign up for our e-news, so we can keep you posted on workshops and events coming up that you will not want to miss. That's cornerofficelatinas.com. See you next week.